Hello there, everybody. It's good to see you again. Today we're going to be drawing pretty much. Yeah, we're going to be drawing some muscles, the muscular system. I'm going to get started and we're going to be using our paper vertically. You might be wondering, why am I drawing muscles today? The reason is because everybody has a body and everybody is different. The body on a human or an animal is shaped by the size of the bones, muscles, and body fat. I use my fingers to measure and plan that the head in my drawing is smaller than the torso of the body, and the legs are twice the size of the torso. I'm pretty much doing math here. I start out with a horizontal line for the shoulders. After that, a vertical line for the torso. The one for the hips will be smaller. It doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of estimate it. The measurement of the torso will tell you where the knees will be on the paper. And I'm drawing circles there to show where the patella, the knee, will be. And then I repeat the same measurement and it's going to tell you where the feet will be. For most of you, this will be the first time that you are drawing the muscular system. The first time we draw something, it may not turn out the way we wanted it to. Keep that in mind in case you feel that your drawing is not good enough. Constantly check your work, check the reference photo, measure, compare, erase, and try again. Repeat the process a couple of times. Right now, I just split the torso into 3/3. The belly button will be on the bottom third. This will also be where the elbow will be. And I'm just going to try. Let's see what happens. Right now, I'm not so happy where the hands will end up going. I think it looks like it's a little bit too long. So I think I'm going to try and maybe draw the belly button just a little bit higher. Because remember, the hands do not stop at the belly button. They also do not stop at the hips. They actually have to go below the hips. And you, if you are standing up right now, check. Your hands should be able to touch your legs. In fact, they should be long enough to go into the pockets of your own pants. I think I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm not going to plan on making it perfect. And on the next video where I will show you how to draw the human skeleton, then I think I'll try and find out where the belly button truly goes. That way I can draw it a little bit better. But it doesn't, again, my drawing does not have to be perfect. So I'm just giving it a go. And as long as people are able to recognize that these are the muscles, then great, excellent. Now for the neck, I think I'm just going to use half the size of what the head would be. Pretty much. I'm just kind of estimating over there. I'm thinking that the head will be like the size of the bottom third of the torso. And again, remember, before you draw it, practice it in the size you want it, on the place on the paper where you want it. Make sure it is an oval that is standing upright and not a circle. You do not want to end up with a pumpkin for a head. Unless, well, maybe you want that, but this is not that kind of drawing today. Not today. The better our understanding of what is inside an arm, for example, and the shape the drawing of the arm needs to have, the better our drawing will be. For the objective of this drawing, I will be using the muscles of a man, but remember that women, children, older people, pretty much everybody has the same muscles, pretty much. The size of them will depend on different factors like hormones, age, amount of exercise, body fat, etc. With my pencil, I'm going to mark where the first and the second thirds on the torso are going to be. The pectorals will be on the top 1/3, but first I'm going to draw the shape of the torso, the body. Now that I'm drawing the shape, every muscle that I'm going to draw will be inside of that shape. The shape I drew will be my guide that will tell me where I start and stop drawing muscles. The shape of the Pectoralis Major reminds me of a square or maybe a rectangle with very, very soft and rounded corners. So don't make those pointy, it's gonna look weird. Make sure it looks rounded. I am coloring in the same direction with my orange marker, leaving empty white spots. I will not fill these in because I want them to add those ripples that muscles seem to have. On the middle and bottom thirds of the torso, that's where I will draw the shapes of the rectus abdominis or the abdomen. Be very aware every time you get up, every time you move your fingers, blink, speak, or move your neck or your head to face or to look at something. All of these things make you more aware of how important the muscles are for your body, for any movement. Also, begin using the names of the muscles. The more you use the weird new words and you incorporate them into your vocabulary, the better you will be, because these are words that you are going to learn and keep using throughout the rest of your life, because you are going to keep having that same body for the rest of your life. So the sooner you learn these words, the better it will be for you. Speaking of complex words that are difficult to pronounce, Sternocleidomastoid. I'm going to make sure that I draw that one. It's the one that you have on the front of the neck, and it allows you to move the head forwards or backwards to the sides. And I'm going to make sure that I connect the sternocleidomastoid to the trapezius. That's the one on your shoulders. However, the location of the trapezius is more on the back of the neck than on the front of your body. After the trapezius, I'm going to draw the deltoid. This might not be completely accurate, but I split the upper arm in half, and I'm going to draw the bicep. The bicep will be on the front of your arm. The triceps are on the back of your arm. Remember, when you are copying from my drawing, that you are going to copy the same direction that the lines are going in. Right now I'm drawing the deltoid, and it needs to make those shoulders round. Half of that upper arm is deltoid. The other half, it's just going to be biceps. Again, this might not be completely accurate. I think, if anything, the bicep might take up more space than the deltoid, but that's okay. Towards the end, I will be using that red marker that you see on the upper right corner, but that one will be more for little details. Right now, I'm just continuing with orange. The brachioradialis muscles that I'm drawing on the forearms seem very easy and very straightforward. And remember, I'm not able to erase, so if I make a mistake, well, too bad. And I hope that your drawing turns out great as well. More or less. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to learn here. Most likely this is the first time that we're drawing a lot of these muscles, or that you are drawing them. For me, it's more like the second time in my life. So mine is not perfect right now, and it's okay. Up next, the Quadriceps Femoris, or your quads. Pretty much, your quads. I think I'm going to draw the shape of the leg first. And you'll see me going back and forth between many images of muscles that I found on the internet, and I suggest that you do the same, because sometimes you might be copying from somebody's drawing and maybe they skipped a part or a section, or they didn't draw one section and you really want to know what that is. You are going to find that when you are coloring the muscles and you are looking at my drawing, and maybe your drawing doesn't quite look like mine. And you don't know, like, what is that? In what direction does it go in? I don't understand it. This is where you will look at your other images of body muscles, and then you will make a decision based on all of the images that you are seeing. If you think about it, you are halfway through the drawing. You have drawn the hardest parts by now, I think, which would be the upper torso. I think that's the hardest one to draw. So as long as people are kind of sort of able to recognize it, then great, excellent. And you just move on. Do make sure that you're checking your work and that both legs look about the same size. I know that sometimes one leg can be bigger than the other or larger in real life. I mean this. Sometimes one eye can be higher on our faces. It can be a little bit different, so it's okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure that those two legs look more or less like they are the same size or the same thickness. Now, where the soleus and where the thighs and the quads, all of those muscles, where they go on the legs, where they start, where the knee is, and how they end closer to the ankles, all of that, it takes a while to learn. Just remember that you're just going to have to keep trying, keep noticing. You will have to observe several times. Where does it start? Right now it looks like it starts under the knee, under the patella. The thickest part will be somewhere like on the upper third of the leg. And then the thinnest part of the calf muscle will be closer to the ankle. It will take a while again, but you're just gonna have to try. And then legs, I mean feet, they're just hard. Just try your best. Again, just try your best. Feet and hands are just some of the toughest things to draw ever. Just imagine, and then just imagine if you're only drawing muscles, no skin, no nails, no toes. Like, it's just weird. It's just gonna be weird. We just accept it and move on. Thinking about anatomy and art, I am thinking of all the times that art has been inspired by science. For example, movies and video games that have used armor that looks like muscles. And I'm thinking of mostly these inspirations have been showing up mostly on horror movies and video games, so I won't be able to show images, but just in case there are any children watching. But yeah, I have seen them in movies like The Cell or Dracula. But again, it's like art can be inspired by or informed by real life anatomy or fictionalized anatomy. And they can also be informed by art. Kind of like a la Leonardo da Vinci. Now here is what I did for the hands. I split the hand in halves, in two halves. One is the palm of the hand, and the other one will be the fingers themselves. And the two of them will be pretty much the same measurement. I drew the palm of the hand, and I'm going to make sure that the middle finger will be pretty much the same length as the palm of the hand. That's pretty much the same distance right there. Going back to Leonardo da Vinci, he was an artist during the Renaissance. He was actually one of many. There have been many artists throughout history that have been mixing mathematics with engineering, with science, with technology, with art, all of those things. But Leonardo da Vinci has been one of the most famous ones. Think of him as a superstar of his time. Now for the rest of the hands and the face, the facial muscles, I'm really not going to start writing the names of them. I'm going to skip it for now. I just wanted to show you the main muscles that were on the rest of the body instead. And I'm actually going to speed just a little bit through the facial muscles, but you can kind of tell more or less what I'm doing. And again, if you want to see more detail, maybe that will guide you better on what direction you are drawing the muscles in, or specifically what facial muscles are going to be added. I suggest that you find more images of what the facial muscles or muscles of the face look like. Right now I'm getting some strong Mexican wrestler, luchador of the lucha libre vibes in here. Just remember that the eyes are supposed to be floating in the middle of the oval, not at the top of it. I would say that that's my main goal here, to make sure that the eyes are not at the top of the face. With a red marker, I am just going to be accenting little spots, little places of the body. The way I think of it in my mind, wherever two muscles are touching, right on the edges, that's where I'm going to add most of the lines, but not throughout the whole muscle, just at the edges. And again, they're not going to be all over the place, because this is just to accent. This is just to bring some attention to it, but not to the whole thing. I find that doing this with a darker marker makes it look more three-dimensional and then more realistic. It also makes it look more like it has more texture. You get a better sense of what the muscles would actually feel like if you were to touch them without the skin or the fat being in the way. Also, using more than one color, in this case orange and red, makes it more interesting to look at. Here is one last opportunity to learn vocabulary about the body parts or about the muscles. Label all the muscles that you can, or most of them. I also hope that you enjoyed doing this drawing. I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, goodbye.